911 Emergency Communications District. We have a pretty full agenda this morning. We are again meeting by way of Zoom technology pursuant to the provisions allowed by state law. There are some new modifications in the state sunshine law, and we'll talk about that a little later on. But we are experimenting this morning with a YouTube upload of our meeting this morning. So I wanted to make all of you aware of that. And that's how we'll probably be conducting any type of remote meeting in the future. Mike Mann, our general counsel, and John will go over that new modified process. But I did want to let you know we are uploading a YouTube video of this meeting this morning. Given we are meeting by way of remote technology, it is imperative that all of you on the call are able to hear and respond. So I would ask that you please check your technology, check your connections to make sure you can respond to us today. As a result of us meeting remotely, all votes taken by the board will be done by way of roll call voice votes. So again, it's imperative that you're able to speak to us today. Our public and a member of the public wishing to address the board today may do so at our Amnicola Highway location at 3300 Amnicola Highway in our boardroom. If you need to have access to speak during this particular process. We're going to call the meeting to order. I'll ask the Honorable Birthday Sheriff of Hamilton County, Jim Hammond, to do an invocation for us. I think he is still on. Is the sheriff still there?
I think he stepped away for a second.
He may have stepped away. Then we'll go to Eddie. Eddie, if you'll do an invocation for us. Thank you, sir. Eddie Phillips.
Yes, thank you, sir. Let's pray. Father, thank you for loving us. Just thank you that we can all be together and do your will, and just give us wisdom and give us clear minds and help us do the people's business. And we lift up every agency that we represent and that we dispatch for. We pray that you protect all of our members, and we pray that you just that your will be done. And we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. John, roll call, please, as we open this meeting.
Director Adams.
Yes, here.
Sheriff Hammond. Chief Hyman.
Here.
Daisy Madison.
Here.
Director Miller.
Here.
Chief Tucker for Chief Murphy.
Here.
Chief Phillips.
Here.
Chief Rogers.
Here.
Brad Tucker.
Here.
Chief Field.
Here.
Dr. Brown. We have a quorum.
Present. Approval of the agenda, item number B. You've previously been sent the agenda of this meeting along with other materials. Please peruse that. And now if it's approved by you, we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Daisy Madison, I motion that we approve the agenda.
Motion by Daisy, is there a second?
Second. Hyman.
Second by Phil Hyman. Roll call, John.
Director Adams.
Yes.
Sheriff Hammond. Chief Hyman.
Yes.
Daisy Madison.
Yes.
Director Miller.
Yes.
Chief Tucker.
Yes.
Chief Phillips.
Yes.
Chief Rogers.
Yes.
Brad Tucker.
Yes.
Chief Veal.
Yes.
Dr. Brown.
Yes. Item number C is approval of the minutes of May 12, 2022. Again, you've previously been sent those minutes. I hope you've had an opportunity to peruse those minutes. If there are no modifications or recommendations of the minutes, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of May 12, 2022. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes, Adams.
Motion by Adams. Is there a second?
Second, Miller.
Second by Miller. Roll call, John.
Director Adams.
Yes.
Sheriff Hammond. Chief Hyman.
Yes.
Daisy Madison.
Yes.
Director Miller.
Yes.
Chief Tucker.
Yes.
Chief Phillips.
Yes.
Chief Rogers.
Yes.
Brad Tucker.
Yes.
Chief Veal.
Yes.
Dr. Brown.
Yes. Item number D is one of my favorite parts of the agenda, is awards and recognitions as we look at some of the outstanding work and celebrate the accomplishments of our talented employees throughout the district. John, we'll turn that over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I will let Director Carney to make these presentations, please.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Starting with April, our telecommunicator of the month for April was Crystal Mitchum. She's there in Jared Pelham's office. Hi, Crystal. Crystal was the county fire dispatcher handling a residential fire in Highway 58's district. It was one of those not typical residential fires in the county where you had propane tanks involved. You had numerous vehicles around the building that were exposures. We actually had a camper that was exposed to the building that did catch on fire, and it just happened to have a dog in it. Plus the large mutual aid response that went with that. And that also includes having to talk to Eddie Phillips a lot when that happens. And there is never a time anymore where that's the only call that's going on county fire. There's always something else going on. So she was handling all of that, did a wonderful job. It was noted by our supervisors, and she is our telecommunicator of the month for April. Good job, Crystal.
Crystal, are you on the call? Kind of wave to us if you would. Congratulations. We are delighted to celebrate your great work for the month of April. On behalf of our board, we really do thank you for all the many contributions you continue to make to this agency. You're the reason why we are as good as we are. So let's hit those buttons and give her a hand clap there. All of you got your little reaction buttons there, and I'm going to give her a hand clap. There you go. Crystal, thank you. Would you like to say anything?
Not at this time.
All right. Again, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Crystal, you were supposed to say it's just a joy to be able to talk to Eddie on the radio.
Unmuted.
You know what? It's a joy to speak to everyone on the radio.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Anytime.
Good girl, good girl.
You guys can key up anytime you want to and talk to me, okay?
Thank you, Crystal.
Be careful what you say, Crystal.
Oh, I know. I just stepped in it, huh?
Our telecommunicator of the month for May was Wesley Ross. Wesley's there. Hi, Wesley.
Hi.
Wesley had the misfortune, but we were fortunate to have him on Adam Channel when they had the mass shooting there on Walnut Street in the 100 block.
No.
So times like that, your channel just kind of goes crazy. Wesley did an excellent job in keeping everything under control and making sure the response was handled correctly. They also received a commendation from the sergeant, the police sergeant on duty there, and the police lieutenant that responded to that. Did an outstanding job and helped make a bad situation better by his handling of it. So Wesley is our telecommunicator of the month for May.
Wesley, we're delighted to celebrate your great work. We received a letter of commendation for that work by the Chattanooga Police Department by a sergeant who was a commander at the scene. He took his time. I think it's almost a 4-paragraph letter. He was so delighted and of the work that you folks did to make sure that they could get this covered, and then all the officers could get home safely. Our new police chief, Murphy, also sent in a nice note saying that she is just delighted that we have such professional telecommunicators who are there dedicated to the public and to police officers, making sure that they can get back home safely from some pretty dangerous work. So Wesley, thank you. I know it must have been chaotic, but thank you for keeping your cool.
Yeah, thank you guys for recognizing me, and I didn't do it alone. So thanks.
Thank you.
Mr.
You're
Chairman?
Yeah, go ahead.
I am now back. I could hear you the whole time, but you weren't hearing me and the picture was gone, but everything's back up. So I was here when you called the roll, and et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you, Sheriff. We'll make a note of that. We appreciate that. So Wesley, thank you. Any other member of the board like to say something to Wesley, Mr. Ross?
Go ahead, Chief Tucker, go ahead.
I just, again, appreciate all the telecommunicators, what they did that night, and the effort that went on, in chaos. It really is impressive how they handle it on their end, because there's a lot going on, and they showed true professionalism. So much appreciated.
Chief, thank you for that. Eddie?
Well, I just want to tell Wesley and all, it's not lost on any of the board members that this police sergeant took the time, because they're busy and they don't normally do that, to take the time to write that letter. That really shows that you really did impress those guys, and they really felt like you had their back. And I'm proud of you for saying that, I don't do it alone, that we're a team, and you have all your other, we're just so proud of all of our people. But it's not lost on us that they took the time to write that letter. That really means something.
Again, Wesley, thank you, and thanks all the telecommunicators for what they do in times of crisis. We really do appreciate that. Anything else, Jeff?
Yes, sir. The supervisors have really stepped up and basically being call takers during our current manpower situation. You'll see that on the financial report, where they've also been working overtime as call takers to help us out, and they do a wonderful job. Floor Supervisor Amanda Jones, who's there with Crystal in Jared Pelham's office. Hi, Amanda. She took a call from reporting a 70-year-old female in cardiac arrest. She initiated CPR instructions, coached the people through doing CPR, kept it going. The responders arrived, continued CPR, and EMS got a return of circulation during their transport to the hospital. So Floor Supervisor Amanda Jones was awarded a lifesaver award for her actions on that call.
Wow. Well, Amanda, listen, we really do celebrate you today for some outstanding work. I know that's pretty daunting to talk someone through CPR and to be able to do that and actually save a life. So we really do appreciate that. Thank you also for stepping up with a little bit of a job change, actually taking calls if we have an employee shortage we're trying to fill. So we really do appreciate your versatility. Thank you for your commitment to the Hamilton County 911 District. Thank you so very much. Any comments from you?
No, just doing our job. We all pitching to help.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Any comments from members of the board?
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I'd like to thank Amanda. It's always good when I see one of my former employees from when I was there that she did an awesome job when she worked for me, and now that that she's a supervisor and stepped up into this role and getting this award, it doesn't surprise me at all. But I always want to give kudos to my former peeps. So proud of you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. And I know we have John Miller on with our emergency medical services. When telecommunicators do this fine work, it makes the job of EMS go much better. Any comments from you, John?
Yeah, it does. The pre-arrival instructions are always beneficial. That's the time when you're gonna have your most success with any kind of medical, especially cardiac arrest, is that pre-arrival CPR. And going back to the Walnut Street shooting, I heard good things, from our guys on the scene also. With the telecommunicators were able to keep track of the number of patients and where they were at, because they were kind of spread out a little bit over that area. And we were able to notify MedCom, who notified Erlanger, which Erlanger, I don't know if you've been down there lately, they stay packed all the time. They had 90 patients in the ER yesterday. So it's just a mass unit down there on a regular basis. But that early call to them, giving them numbers, really helped them clear the hallway. So that's how that teamwork can expand out and to beyond just emergency services, but how the hospital handles things. So I wanted to pass that along too from our side.
John, thank you very much. The common thread that runs through this is teamwork. And so I want all of you to know you're part of a pretty major integral team to deliver these services to save lives. So again, thank you. I want to say to Jeff Carney and to John, thank you for continuing to support some outstanding employees, making sure that their training is up to date and that their job situation is always paid good attention to. So we really appreciate that. Jeff, thank you for running a great operation.
Thank you, sir. If I could, just the ones we've recognized have done an outstanding job. We had a really thick packet of awards to review this month. In the month of May, our folks located a stolen firearm just by recognizing a serial number they'd seen a couple of days before, which firearm serial numbers are not something I commit to memory, but they did, and it helped them locate a stolen firearm. They found two children under the age of 11 that were lost in a cornfield up in the north part of the county, a huge cornfield. Took them over an hour of being on the phone with these two kids to actually get rescuers to them. They took a call from a woman who was pretending to order a pizza, handled that text to 911 call as if she was ordering her pizza, got responders to her. She had been assaulted in the head with a hatchet, was a domestic violence victim. Took another call from a voice call from a woman who immediately wanted to cancel the call. The call taker stayed on it, got police to the address that we were given on the call. She was a victim of domestic violence and saved her. We had a gentleman that was a former employee of a business who was not very happy with that business that he was a former employee to come back there with a firearm. The call taker kept everyone safe, kept the information flowing to dispatch. Dispatch kept it to the responders, and that was concluded successfully with nobody injured. It could have been a horrible incident. And that's just, just a few of what they've handled. They've really done outstanding. I'm so very, very proud of them any day. But with the manpower shortage we have and with the call volume that's going up, they haven't missed a lick. They've really stepped up and do the fantastic jobs they always do in a really challenging time. So I'm very proud of them. And I thank the board and everybody for their support.
Jeff, again, well, thank you. And again, thank to this fantastic team that you have. I always say that we accomplish the mission critical work of 911 through bright and talented people. And what you have just shared with us is really evident that we do have some of the best employees, I think, in the country. So employees, thank you again for what you do. All you telecommunicators, you're really true professionals and we appreciate you. Anything else, Jeff?
No, sir. Thank you.
Great report. Yes.
This is Daisy. I just
Yes.
want for everybody and the entire team, just to echo what has been said. I'm proud to be a part of this group of people, this team.
Thank you, Daisy. Really appreciate that. Okay, item number E is our financial report. Daisy is on the call. Daisy, will yield to you.
Okay, I guess we should put this up on the screen here. I can share.
John, can she share?
Seth, you want to give her permission?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay.
So I am trying to find the actual financials in this packet. Executive, legal. Okay.
2020.
You all see this? Can you see this?
Not yet, Daisy.
Hmm. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Now, yes, you got the balance sheet up. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, the financial report for May 31st shows good results. As you can imagine, we've been talking about the fact that from a financial perspective, the team, in spite of their shortage, have been able to do well. And in spite of the fact that they're not spending or haven't been able to hire the staff that they need. So financially, that works out okay. And because of the dedication of the team that we have, the center did not suffer as badly as it could have. The assets, if you'll notice, this is a comparative May to May. And we have quite a bit more cash on hand than we did the same time last year, nearly $3 million worth. I'm assuming that this is a time-in deal, and therefore that cash probably already has been reinvested, because we have had some questions about approvals of investment since May 31st. Other than that, I have some questions out there for Jay that are not something that has to be responded to now. They're not major, but we will talk about those offline. The total equity, you'll notice there's 24.4 at this time last year, 26.3 at this time this year. So that suggests that the entity is moving in the right directions. Liabilities are about the same, so that total equity is totally made up, increase is totally made up of additional retained earnings and assets that are being purchased. The next item here is budget versus actual, if you can see that. At this point in the year, on a straight line basis, May 31st, average, you would have about 90% of your budget spent. 11 months, about 90%. If you'll see here, income revenues for the TCA receipts, section 78-303 and 130, or about 80%. However, the non-operating revenues are right on target here at 91%. Total being at about 86%. Nothing to be necessarily alarmed around, of course, because our expenditures are also down. And there could be some timing differences in revenues. Expenses, on the other hand, are about 92% for salaries at this point, but we all know that that largely has to do with the fact that the board agreed to a salary compensation update, and that was made effective January. And so therefore that had to be absorbed in the current budget. But, even with that, we're pretty much on target, even for the salaries, and then if any shortage there will be made up with the shortage and the benefit, which is at 76%, which of course were not a direct increase, except there was some Social Security, medical, but the bigger pieces, the employment taxes, were not changing. The medical insurance piece did not change. It was commensurate with salaries. Other than that, there are quite a bit of items here. If you'll see miscellaneous that are over 100%. But they are not large amounts. So Jay and I will discuss those. They are not something that needs to be necessarily addressed at this meeting. The only one that I thought was interesting, miscellaneous, it's not a lot of money. It's just one of those items that is a catch-all, and we'd kind of like to know what they are. Contingency here, you'll notice there's nothing happening, meaning we have not used it all. However, we do have some plans for that will be discussed later. Buildings and facilities, they're all under budget, communications. So therefore, our total expense is 92% of budget, 91.7, which is directly on target, even given the fact that we were able to give the raises and absorb them in the current year's budget, but we can owe that favorable outcome, if you will, to our employees who were able to carry on even with the shortages that are there. And hopefully going forward, the budget is reflective of those changes, and we can keep staff at a level that is good. Comparative month to month, you have those. I won't necessarily go over them unless someone has a question.
Daisy, thank you for that very positive report. I do commend the staff, John and his team, Jay and all, for making sure our financials are headed towards being in the black as we look towards year-end close. Any questions from the board regarding Daisy's financial report? It's a very good report. Seeing none, Daisy, will you make a motion to approve the financial report for May 2022?
Okay, I'm Daisy, and I recommend approval of the financial report for the month of May as submitted.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Tucker seconds.
Steve Tucker, second. Any further questions? Roll call, John.
You're muted.
My apologies. Thank you for that. Director Adams,
Yes.
Sheriff Hammond,
Yes.
Chief Hyman,
Yes.
Daisy Madison,
Yes.
Director Miller,
Yes.
Chief Tucker,
Yes.
Chief Phillips,
Yes.
Chief Rogers,
Yes.
Brad Tucker,
Yes.
Chief Veal,
Yes.
Dr. Brown.
Yes. Item number F is our report from our counsel, general counsel, Mike Mann's on the call. Mike, anything you want to share with us?
Nothing new other than the report that you give. That'd be all.
Okay, thank you. And I think you and John are going to, in doing John's report, you're going to go over that new sunshine law modification for us. So thank you, Mike. Thank you for being available to us. We call Mike from time to time when we have questions come up, and he's always available. So we really do appreciate his work. Item number G is director's report. John, we'll yield to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to let the board members know that we are working on a solution that would hopefully help us expedite the setting up of meetings to make it easier for you and for us as well. We're going to be testing and working on using Microsoft Find Time, and that's basically some of you have received meeting requests where you have multiple choices and you get to select whether that's a good time, a bad time, and then that is tallied and brought back to the person coordinating the meeting. And that's what this application will do. So you'll get an email when you open it up. You will be presented with optional times. You will have the option of preferred time, good time, or bad. You can select, and then that will be brought back to Jay or whoever's setting up that meeting, and we'll be able to determine what's the best time for everybody. So it will hopefully get rid of a lot of these emails, phone calls that you guys are having to take to try to coordinate with, when you have a big committee meeting or the board meeting, that can be frustrating for you guys as well for us. So we're hoping that this will expedite that and make it much easier for everybody, and including Jay. She's really excited about finding it out. But I want to let you know that, so when you get it, you know that it's from us and what it's about.
Don, we also thank Jay for her patience with us. I know sometimes we're all over the place, but she's so calm and trying to get those scheduled. Hopefully this new software will help us. Thank you.
Staffing update. Currently right now, we are 41 positions short, but for actually budgeted strength, as far as people on the floor, we're 43 because we have 2 that are in training right now. We've had 4 resignations since our last meeting, and we are continually working to find ways to get our staffing up. We, as you know, we are having an ongoing application process where we evaluate monthly the applications. I know this last month it was better than we've had before, so we're kind of hoping that trends up and we're getting more people coming in. But we're constantly looking at ways to enhance that, and as we have ways that we think we can do it that need some help with the board, we'll be bringing those to you. But it is difficult, and I want to say that I really do appreciate our staff. A lot of overtime, a lot of mandatory overtime, especially for our supervisors who have stepped up, as Director Carney spoke to earlier, is they're actually coming in and working overtime to help fill those gaps. And so it's a real team effort, and we are on the edge of being in a very difficult spot, and coming into the summer, that's gonna be more difficult. But we got a great staff, and so far they have been excellent in filling those gaps for us, so we can continue to provide that quality of service. I'm not going to go into the rest of the information that you have there. We have our May statistics and awards for May and incident dispatch units for your review, but I'll be willing to answer any questions that you might have at this point.
Any questions of our director regarding his report? He had sent you a copy of that. I read through it. And any questions from any member of the board? John, I would like to commend you and Ted and others for really working on this staffing issue. And hopefully, I know you guys are looking at some pretty innovative solutions for that. And you can tell us about that a little bit later on. But we really do appreciate that. All entities are experiencing this same challenge. And I think that we just need to stay the course, and hopefully things will get better here in a little bit.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We're going to move to item number 8, old business. This is the FY23 budget, the final reading. This is the final public hearing on the reading of our FY23 budget. John, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, sir. If I could share, Seth. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, good. The fiscal year 23 budget, there are no changes since our initial reading. Again, the major significant impact to this budget was the fiscal year 22 salary increase that we provided our employees. So for this fiscal year 23, we have an increase of $1,046,170, excuse me, or 9.3% increase in salary. So that's the significant change for the budget. Like I said, there were no changes since the initial first reading. For administration, we are looking at an increase this fiscal year of $38,192 or 4.9%. For buildings and facilities, we're looking at an increase of $1,000 or 0.3%. For communications operations, a decrease of $140,238. So that's a negative 11.1%. And for depreciation, we have no change. So for fiscal year 23, the budget, the grand total expenditures is $16,054,766, which is an increase of $945,124 or 6.2% increase. Capital appropriations, we have for fiscal year 23 an amount of $1,222,000 and a carryover from fiscal year 22 of $748,000, which gives us a capital appropriations grand total of $1,968,000. Shared surcharge revenue, we're looking at a decrease of $338,870, which is 4.3%. And basically that for the Section 130 money, that is, we projected over $700,000 last year, and we did not get that. So what we budgeted for was what we actually got. So that's the reason for the decrease in that. Contributions from local agencies is an increase of $329,062, which is about 4%, for a grand total of $8,498,095. So our grand total for revenue is going to be $16,261,147, which is a decrease of $9,808. A snapshot of the budget summary. As I said, it did not change from the first reading. I'd be willing to answer any questions that you might have regarding the budget at this time.
We move to Daisy and other members of the executive committee. Again, this is our final reading. There's not much change from the original. Daisy, any comments from you about this budget?
No. No, I don't have any comments. I think it's a good budget.
Thank you. Any comments from members of the executive committee or other members of the board?
Mr. Chair, I would just like to say, this is a very good budget. And I would call all the board members' attention to the fact that our operations budget actually has gone down 11%. So we're not, we're being very frugal. We're not wasting money. The bulk of our increase has been strictly in salaries that we knew that we had to do to take care of our people and to really keep up with all of our partner agencies. But our operations budget actually went down, not up, and our total budget's only gone up 6%. So this is an excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Any other comments? John, I do want to thank you and your team for investing in human capital, investing in our people within the district, keeping our salaries competitive, as well as dealing with internal compression of salaries. All of that was part of your comp plan, and I think that was really, really good. I think we'll begin to see the fruits of that as we move forward and continue to do some other things. Also, our benefits are still strong. We saw that. So we're continuing to do very, very good things. Your reinvestment of funds that were available, really strategic, and we really do appreciate that. That is also noteworthy from both of the mayors of the city and the county too. So people recognize how frugal we're being and how strategic we are with reinvestment of our funds. So I do want to compliment all of you for putting together this great budget. I want to compliment Jay also as part of this finance team of John and all your directors. So with that said, can we get a motion to approve on final reading the FY 2023 budget?
Mr. Chairman, before we do that,
Okay.
by statute, we have to close our meeting and open up for public comments on this. So
That's right, John. At this point, we will ask for any public comment from members of our public who might be reviewing our session today or engaged in our session for any comments regarding this budget. And I'll ask Jay whether or not there's anyone visiting our Amnicola Highway facility. Jay, anyone there?
I don't believe there is, sir. No.
Okay. All right, we've had our public comment moment and section there. So again, we'll entertain a motion to approve the 2023 budget.
Motion Rogers.
Motion by Rogers. Is there a second?
Veal seconds.
Second by Boyd Veal. Any further questions? Okay, roll call, John.
Director Adams,
Yes.
Sheriff Hammond,
Yes.
Chief Hyman,
Yes.
Daisy Madison,
Yes.
Director Miller,
Yes.
Chief Tucker,
Yes.
Chief Phillips,
Yes.
Chief Rogers,
Yes.
Brad Tucker,
Yes.
Chief Veal,
Yes.
Dr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, if you allow, I just would like to say thank you to the board for your commitment to our employees as well. I know this was a big haul this year, the raise and the complications of it. It really is a big plus for us, one for our existing employees, also for us to be able to attract employees in the future. So I personally just would like to thank the board for your work in this and your commitment to our people and supporting them in it.
John, thank you for that. On behalf of the board, we'll say we really do appreciate those thoughts and those comments. But again, to reflect to you, we're very, very supportive of you and your team because you do a fantastic job for the citizens of this county. So we really do appreciate the work. Glad to support you. Any other old business? Seeing none, we'll move to new business. Item number 1, the executive assistant position.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The staff had been asked by committee members to evaluate our positions that support administrative staff, and Dr. Gohagan in her new position is over HR. We looked at the positions and specifically for Director Donick, her secretary position and the role that that person plays and the appropriateness of that job classification. And then for Dr. Gohagan, the new duties that she has assumed and somebody that will be available to support her to help her be able to handle those duties and help her succeed in multiple areas that she now is responsible for. We followed our standard procedures. We conducted position description questionnaires, worked with our HR consultant, Vince Yermal, to evaluate those and to determine the proper job classification and pay rate. So that has all been put together, and I will turn it over to Dr. Gohagan at this time to provide her report and recommendations for those positions.
Thank you. Can you pull up the report on your screen? Might make it a little bit easier.
Yep, sure can. Well, I said I can. I'm kind of like I got the. Hang on just one second.
I'll just go ahead and start talking and
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
if you
do
get
that,
pulled up, great. Like Director Sturmer said, we did go through our typical process to look at these positions. We did work with Vince Yermal, who handles not only our positions, but also handles positions throughout Hamilton County government. So we continue to use him. 2 positions. The first one, administrative support specialist. This is a position that's a reclassification. The secretary position that typically works the front desk, answers phones, handles some issues with Jay. As far as that's concerned, we revamped that position to give Jay a true executive assistant type position that would help her handle things along budget lines, travel lines, building security with a key card access system. So we revamped that position and reclassified it into the administrative support specialist position. So the position that's currently listed as secretary is going away in favor of the administrative support specialist position. After review with the human resources consultant, Vince Yermal, we placed that in job salary range of 45, which provides a minimum of 36,307, midpoint of 45,383, with a maximum of 54,460. The personnel committee looked at this on looks like May 23rd, and we're requesting for the full board approval. There's that, basically what I was just talking about there. This position is also going to be bonded and expected to be a notary public, which would also help Jay out in any number of items.
Additionally, the funding for this position was included in the fiscal year 23 budget, so it would not impact the budget at all.
John, thank you. And Dr. Gohagan, thank you for that report. I'll ask Ted Rawls as chair of our personnel committee to comment and move this item forward for vote.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Nothing further from me. Explanation has been adequate for what all that we've talked about. The personnel committee did support this. So on behalf of all the work of the staff and the personnel committee, I make the motion that we recommend these positions go forward.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion by Ted Rogers. Is there a second?
Second. Brad Tucker seconds.
Brad Tucker, second. Any further questions? Roll call, John.
Director Adams,
Yes.
Sheriff Hammond,
Yes.
Chief Hyman,
Yes.
Daisy Madison,
I think Daisy might be muted.
yeah, Daisy muted.
Yes, sorry.
That's right. Director Miller,
Yes.
Chief Tucker,
Yes.
Chief Phillips,
Yes.
Chief Rogers,
Yes.
Brad Tucker,
Yes.
Chief Veal,
Yes.
Dr. Brown.
Yes. Item number 2, facilities exterior lighting.
Did we approve both the positions with that vote or just one?
My assumption that it was both of those.
Okay,
My motion was for both.
well, thank you very much for the clarification.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
this next item, we're going to be talking about critical infrastructure and homeland security issues. So can we have Seth turn the live stream off and make sure there's no civilians, no members of the public on the Zoom call?
Seth, can you unmute and respond to that and make sure we are talking